High in the Bolivian Andes sits Puma Punku, an ancient ruin carved with such precision that modern engineers admit it shouldn't exist. Blocks weighing over 100 tons are sliced with perfect 90-degree angles, yet history tells us the builders only used stone hammers and bronze chisels over 1,500 years ago. 4 generations, experts have argued over how it was achieved, or if we're even asking the right questions. So, researchers did something no one had tried before. They fed every known scan, photograph, and measurement of Puma Punku, over 12 terabytes of data, into a cutting-edge artificial intelligence. The result shocked even the skeptics. Because not only did the AI recreate the site, it revealed something far darker hiding in its design. Why Puma Punku shouldn't exist yet it does. To truly understand why researchers are so rattled by what our AI reconstruction just uncovered, you first need to understand just how baffling Puma Punku already was before technology got involved. Located on Bolivia's high-altitude Altiplano, a cold, windswept plateau sitting more than 12,000 feet above sea level, Puma Punku has puzzled experts for generations. This isn't just another Incan ruin. It's a site so advanced that even seasoned archaeologists admit it shouldn't have been possible for the people who allegedly built it over 1,500 years ago. Let's start with the most basic question: what is this place made from? The complex is constructed mostly from 2 types of stone: a softer reddish sandstone and a far tougher volcanic rock called andesite, which has a hardness rating of about 6 on the Mohs scale. That's just 1 notch below quartz. According to historical records, the Tiwanaku culture, which supposedly built Puma Punku, is said to have had stone hammers and basic bronze tools at best. Trying to carve andesite with that kind of technology isn't just difficult, it's almost absurd. And yet, somehow, they not only carved it, they engineered it. The stones are massive. The largest weighs an estimated 131 metric tons. Imagine trying to move nearly 70 full-sized family sedans stacked together. Most theories claim these blocks were hauled on wooden rollers. But there's a catch: the site sits far above the tree line where almost nothing grows. That means timber would have needed to be chopped in the lush valleys far below, then dragged uphill across inhospitable terrain just to start moving these stones. To do that dozens, maybe even hundreds of times. Suddenly, the simple explanation doesn't feel simple at all. And then comes the precision. Forget rough-cut ancient mason work, the stones at Puma Punku look machined. Many are cut at perfect 90-degree angles with surfaces so smooth they reflect light. The famous H-blocks are the most astounding: identical andesite pieces carved with complex internal right angles, recessed reliefs, T-shaped slots, and grooves that look closer to factory-manufactured parts than anything you'd expect from a pre-industrial society. Stand them side by side and you realize they were meant to interlock like giant stone Lego bricks. Some even have channels where molten eye-shaped bronze clamps were poured into to lock the stones together, revealing an understanding of metallurgical casting techniques not thought to exist in this region at that time. While it's not exactly true that a razor blade can't pass between the stones anymore, they've been cracked and shifted by earthquakes and centuries of weather. Many of them still fit together with astonishing exactness. So the questions pile up. Where did they get the engineering knowledge? What kind of tools did they use to achieve this level of precision? How did they move stones heavier than a blue whale across unforgiving terrain? The crumbling explanations why historians needed help from a machine. The truth is, traditional theories about Puma Punku had quietly been falling apart for years. The mainstream explanation goes like this: the Tiwanaku people, using stone hammers and bronze chisels, slowly pounded the extremely tough andesite stones into shape. Afterward, they supposedly polished the surfaces using sand, water, and hours upon hours of manpower. In controlled experiments, researchers have shown that this can work if you're carving one small block. The problem comes when you zoom out. Knowing you can carve one perfect 90-degree corner is not the same as explaining how several hundred tons of those stones, uniform, repeating, and interlocking, were created and assembled more than 1,500 years ago. The pace of the primitive method simply fails to match the immense scale, consistency, and standardized design seen all across Puma Punku. Either these people had a workforce so enormous it would rival modern construction crews, or something about the story is missing. That gap opened the door to alternative theories, some fascinating, others fringe. One rising idea is the liquid stone or geopolymer theory, which claims Tiwanaku engineers didn't carve these stones at all. Instead, they supposedly knew a chemical process that let them dissolve andesite into a slurry, then pour it into molds like ancient concrete. This might explain the sharp angles and H-shaped blocks if it were true. But most geologists strongly reject this. The mineralogical signatures in the stones show no signs of reformation. These blocks are natural, quarried stone. So the debate was stuck between a traditional explanation, many believed was too weak, and outsider theories, most believed were too wild. That's when a new approach was born, one that didn't rely on what we think they could or could not have done. Instead, a global group of researchers launched something they called the Altiplano Project, a bold attempt to let the evidence speak for itself. Teams from universities in Bolivia, Germany, Japan, and the United States spent 5 years collecting every piece of measurable data they could. They used high-resolution laser scanning to map over 150 individual stones down to the micron. They ran ground-penetrating radar to hunt for buried structures. They analyzed chemical signatures of metals left behind on clamp points. They brought in satellite imagery to try and trace lost quarry routes. Astronomers even checked whether Puma Punku aligned with star systems as part of a cosmic plan. All told, they gathered over 12 terabytes of raw information, a digital time capsule locked inside stone. This is where the technology entered. Instead of telling the AI what to find, they told it to reverse engineer the site. No preconceived theories. No human bias. Just take the data angles, alignments, tool marks, composition, and try to rebuild Puma Punku in the most logical way possible. The goal was simple. If there was a system behind this place, a design language, a workflow, a hidden plan, maybe a machine could see what humans had missed. The AI's revelation, what the stones were really saying. Once the artificial intelligence got to work, it didn't care about reputation, ancient legends, or long-held academic theories. It didn't see stones, it saw data. Vectors, chemical traces, mathematical ratios, even celestial coordinates. From that digital chaos, something extraordinary took shape. For the first time ever, Puma Punku reconstructed itself. For centuries, archaeologists have walked among collapsed walls and scattered megaliths, trying to guess what the original buildings might have looked like. But guessing comes with bias. The AI had no such problem. By comparing thousands of tool marks and matching broken fragments like pieces of the world's most difficult jigsaw puzzle, it digitally snapped everything back together. What emerged was not a simple courtyard or temple. According to the model, Puma Punku was once a massive, multi-level architectural marvel. It featured a raised platform mound, several interior chambers, gateways connected by corridors, and a complex system of channels. Some channels, it found, were carved with such precision that water would have flowed through them at specific rates, forming large shallow pools. Positioned just right, those pools could reflect the night sky, suggesting ceremonial observations of the heavens using water as a giant mirror.